Breaking news!
Meanwhile, at UCI South, Counts got sent to the box for investigation after a stabbing that happened a week earlier. Before all that, he had already told Shellcase they was going to keep sending that phone back and forth every week through the people that worked in the box, because he already knew there was a chance he might end up down there. The prison said Counts was behind the stabbing of an inmate named Comedy. And in prison, once something like that happened, they don't play. They snatch you up, throw you in an investigation, and lock everything down while they try to figure out what happened. But the truth was, Counts was already burning inside over what happened with Phoebe. That whole situation had him mad. And when he got his chance, he crashed out on one of the jesters that was locked up in there with him. He stabbed Comedy up bad. Now, UCI South on lockdown, the pressure heavy. And everybody inside know this ain't just a prison. Incident no more, it's war bleeding all. The way behind the walls.
They were on him the moment the call started. The mayor, the chief, both of them talking like the city was collapsing, because it was 33 bodies already, and those were only the confirmed ones. They weren't even counting the attempted murders. The shootings. The victims still barely holding on in hospital beds. All of it traced back to one name. Frederick Diggington. Fee, a name that had the entire underworld bleeding. He didn't argue, didn't defend himself. He just listened, then ended the call. The silence that followed felt heavier than the conversation. He leaned back in his chair, surrounded by files, crime scene photos, reports, names piling up with no real answers. The streets were out of control. No cooperation. No witnesses. The informants had gone quiet, and the ones responsible were still out there, moving freely. It was wearing on him. The door opened. Jenny Squeals stepped in. "Don't tell me my best detective is in here falling apart." She moved behind him, placing her hands on his shoulders, easing the tension. He didn't resist, just leaned back and let her work, but his mind didn't slow down. She spoke calmly, almost carefully. Said she had been watching Jordan Barks, said he was more involved with Dog Nation than he let on, that he had started moving differently, exposing himself without realizing it. He let out a slow breath. "It doesn't matter," he said quietly. "None of it matters if nobody talks." He shook his head. No witnesses, no leads, just bodies. And outside that office, the war was still counting.
Ped was at the spot, on the phone with Brea, and he was not trying to hear none of what she was saying. Bri was telling him the prosecutor might believe Point's story if he got on the stand, and proved it in trial, but Ped shut that down immediately. In the underworld, going to trial was different, because once you took the stand, you had to go through the sniff test, where a werewolf or another dog species could smell, whether you were lying or telling the truth. That alone made the whole situation dangerous. Bri was basically saying Points could help himself if he testified. But Pade already knew that was never happening. Casino saw the look on Pady's face and could tell something was wrong. So he pressed him about it. That was when the truth came out. The prosecutor wanted Points to testify, but after everything that had happened, and with Points already being caught on camera with the barker, Pede knew there was no way he was going for that. In his mind, that was dead on arrival.